Hey, welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Jason, host of Fighting Words Financial. I just got my second dose of the vaccine today, and I can already feel some sort of immune reaction kicking in right now. So I wanted to get this video out on Nio before I started to feel bad, but I am glad I got the second dose of the vaccine, by the way. But I haven't covered Nio a lot recently, and that's really just because I've been very interested in genomics companies recently and some fintechs. But I still follow a lot of the news that's out there. But to be honest, there's a lot of other YouTubers that are doing really great things when it comes to Nio coverage. And there's a couple of channels that do almost exclusively Nio coverage, and I watch what they're doing occasionally. So I'm going to talk about a few of the things that they're not necessarily talking about today, cover some of the news that happened in the last couple of weeks, and talk about one announcement in particular that I think is going to be very, very important going forward. And I really need to change the way I'm thinking about Nio. I think that they've made a lot of really important, smart steps in the process of becoming a globally recognized brand, and I wasn't sure they were going to be able to do that at first. And now some of my doubts are being wiped away here. So, Nio, a couple of weeks ago, just produced their 100,000th vehicle. That's the 100,000th vehicle they've made since the company was established in 2014. I think this was a wonderful milestone to pass. It's an interesting number. Is that number in particular all that important? Not really, but Elon Musk thought it was important enough to comment on Twitter and give Nio an attaboy here. Nio has already indicated also that their first quarter deliveries are going to exceed 20,000. Why is this important? Well, it demonstrates that their delivery growth is continuing to, it's continuing to increase. And it also indicates that they are going to be far less impacted by the semiconductor shortage than they gave us, than they led us to believe back in February, which I guess that's a smart thing to do, set lower expectations and then exceed those. So let's talk about earnings, which are going to be announced tomorrow after market close, I think. I don't expect any surprises. Actually, I guess they wouldn't be a surprise if I was expecting them, right? But what I'm going to say is that Nio is a long way from being profitable. They might have an accidental profitable quarter here. It's not going to be this one like it was for Lee last quarter, but they're a long way from true profitability, probably at least 3 years away. That's not necessarily a bad thing, but here's probably what's going to happen with earnings that's going to be released tomorrow. You're going to see an increase in Capex. They've got a factory complex, not just a single factory, but a factory complex and R&D center that they've just signed an agreement to build, and they're going to be increasing the amount of money that they're spending on R&D. So you're probably going to see an acceleration of losses at this point. Not necessarily a bad thing, like I said. Think Tesla in the early days when they're pouring everything back into building the machines that build the machines. Nio is finally doing that. I think that they've reached their limit with JAC as far as how deep their relationship is going to be. And this is the first step in owning their own manufacturing process. So Nio, most importantly though, and I'm pretty excited about this, on May 6th, they're going to announce something that's long been more than a rumor, but never officially announced, and that is their expansion into the European market. The Chinese EV manufacturer tweeted out from their official handle that its global vision is gaining more focus with their presence in Norway. And on May 6th, they're going to have a press conference, and they're going to talk about what that means for Nio. This is going to mark Nio's first foray really into international markets, and they're going directly into that highly competitive European market. But also the European market has seen a greater share of EVs being purchased by the general public. Now, think about this though. Nio has always had a global vision, a strong global vision, and the desire to expand internationally. And that is really shown by the way their company is set up. And I really think that their branding was done right from the beginning. And I think that their branding is going to translate well internationally. This is really, they have the opportunity to be the first truly accepted premium brand, premium Chinese brand, right? I'm not really necessarily talking about just cars. I'm talking about the first global Chinese technological brand that's really accepted as a premium brand. Now, this is something that the Chinese government has been striving for a long time, ever since exports from China started to decline about a decade ago. They wanted to move up that value chain in terms of manufacturing. And after a series of false starts over the last couple of decades in Chinese auto manufacturing, it finally looks like they're really well on their way to doing that. Nio, like I said from the beginning, has always had this global vision. They already have an established design team in Munich, Germany. They have advanced engineering and R&D centers in Oxford, England. And of course, they have one research and innovation center in Silicon Valley in California. Now, there are also rumors, and I don't know how, I've not been able to confirm these rumors, that Nio also recently purchased property in Denmark, in Copenhagen to be specific. Like I said, this was a rumor that I received from someone else, and I have not been able to confirm that. But yeah, this is all pretty important to those exponential returns that we're all looking for when it comes to our investment with Nio. Let's face it, back in 2018, when I made my original investment in Nio, it was complete speculation, right? People were calling it the Tesla of Nio, but look, it was a Chinese stock. It was a very small company at the time, and there seemed to be a lot of risk. But I could buy a lot with very little money at that time period, and I was able to add more shares since then. But understand that I feel like I'm taking an additional amount of risk simply because this is a Chinese company that is subject to the whims of the Chinese government. So I feel like in order to be rewarded for that risk, this is a company that really needs to expand internationally to sort of justify all the additional risks that I've taken. Now, despite having captured significant mind share of public consciousness in China, Nio, just like every other company in China, they've not been able to establish a dominant presence in the Chinese car market. In fact, no company ever has. VW is probably the closest, and they only have a 14% market share, and that includes not just their electric vehicles, but their gasoline vehicles as well. Now, when I run my own calculations for an eventual price target for Nio, I'm generally pretty conservative about those, and I only use a figure of 6%. That's what I think that Nio is actually going to, in a bear case, what Nio is going to capture of the Chinese market is about 6%. Now think about this, folks. This is still 1.6 million cars in a future Chinese market, and this is still a company at that point that's bringing in roughly $52 billion a year in revenue. That's nothing to sneeze at, even if they don't do as well as we're all expecting, right? Even if they don't have those exponential returns and exponential growth forever. So, but I think that if Nio is going to live up to our expectations, they have to do what no Chinese auto company has ever done, which is expand globally with a truly reliable and truly premium feel. Now, I do feel like the step that they're taking next week, this May 6th announcement, it's not the first foray, it's not the first step. It's actually the third or fourth step in that process, and it's actually well underway already. Now, what does this say for the future of Nio stock? I know that a lot of people have gotten discouraged right now, especially a lot of new investors who don't understand that investing in any sort of technological revolution, you need to have a diversified portfolio within any field that you're interested in. Concentration can be a killer in a lot of ways. And if you have too much concentration in one stock like Nio, you may have felt pretty disappointed over the last couple of months while that stock price has stalled out. I can tell you that this is mirroring almost exactly the experience I had being an early investor at Tesla. I bought my initial shares in 2011. There were months that I was underwater. There were years that I was underwater or that stock seemed like it wasn't moving at all. And then all of a sudden have this explosive growth and it would hang on to that explosive growth. So Nio, I don't expect really to be any different. I think the initial enthusiasm for Nio stock has worn off a little bit, and now we need to start seeing results. We need to start seeing where those Capex dollars are going. We need to see them capture greater market share. I think all of those things are happening, though. I've had my doubts about this company from the beginning. I've never been one of those people that's all on board. I'm never all on board with anyone. I want to be skeptical. But little by little, Nio's management is wearing away at those doubts for me. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Let me know how wrong you think I am. And I look forward to hearing from you, and I'll see you next time.